door's probably on, I bet.
Hmm?
Welcome to MAME Politics, episode 59. Welcome, everybody. How's the lockdown going? I'm here with my special guest, my beautiful wife, Lori Kirchner.
Your wife. Yeah, happy to be here. We haven't done it in a while.
Yeah, it has been a while, huh?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So we got two special games picked out. I actually picked them out for Lori. And we already tried playing one of them. A little awkward to control because this game you're seeing in the background right now is meant to be played on a trackball setup. It's called SegaSonic the Hedgehog. It was not, I guess, an entry in the franchise exactly. It came out in 93. It has two side characters that are neither Tails or Knuckles, that are a squirrel and I think another kind of, is Knuckles an echidna? How do you spell that?
An echidna?
Echidna?
An echidna? An echidna. Jeez. No.
Okay.
Yeah,
What
I
is
think,
that
yeah,
other guy
Knuckles
supposed to
might
be
be an
that?
echidna, which is like it's like an Australian hedgehog.
Is
or
that other guy
something.
supposed to be an echidna?
I don't know. That little muskrat-looking guy.
That's a squirrel.
Okay, so this
Yeah.
game because he kind of looks like Rocky and Bullwinkle. Like
Kind of. It looks
Yeah.
like Tails, but it's not. So
this game, it looks a little bit off though. Like Sonic looks a little like squashed in like the opening bit.
hmm
And then it plays like dog shit because it's meant for a trackball. You told me
it's meant for a trackball.
it's like an isometric.
It's
like,
an isometric
shitstorm.
game with only one action button, and we're going to be playing it on control pads. So it doesn't quite play like probably it's meant to be played, and we're not going to be playing it very well. But it's still a graphically really cool game, and it's just a cool game if you're into Sonic just visually. It's actually, I think, more fun to watch than to play. So let's say hi to everyone before we get too
everyone.
distracted. Hey,
Somebody
Peppo.
said something nice about your recent 2-part series, which I'm halfway through the second part.
You're only halfway through.
I know. There's a lot.
Hi, Peppo. Hi, Soulman. Hey, JC. Hey, Bird. Hey, Director Westfield. Hey, Peter H. Hey, Mr. A. Hey, Smashy Trashy 100. Hey, Furious Psyop. Good to see you. Hey, Modus. Why is he gonna love this? Was this one of his requests? Lori, why did we both say dog shit?
Oh, Peter. Oh, yeah. I see up ahead in the chat he used the word dog shit. Maybe at the same time I
It's
said
coming
it.
back. I mean,
Yeah, it's really descriptive. It's like really like an evocative, visceral, aromatic word.
Peppo, I think Li Fang's tweets on China are really weird, but I'm not completely surprised to see his tweets on that because he's kind of gone in the realm of being like anti-SJW, sort of like left critic, along with Zaid Jilani in that regard. Even though they both used to be pretty good on neocons and neocon propaganda, I think they're getting similarly sucked into like the Matt Stoller sort of Bannon thing. Do you have any idea what I just said?
Kind of. I just saw somebody did a funny tweet about Matt Stoller when I opened my Twitter, which I do on a weekly basis.
Oh, really?
And then
Okay.
look at
So
some
you're
your
aware of
tweets
Matt
and then close
Stoller,
it again.
Matt Stoller. So just
Yeah.
in case people don't know, Gumby for Christ, or maybe it was Terror Toddler. I forgot who actually originally pointed this out. So I apologize if I'm misattributing credit for this. But apparently Matt Stoller has managed to climb his way into sort of an elite echelon of society because his brother is a famous Hollywood director.
Well, and his dad's a big timey exec.
Oh, I didn't know about that.
His
Wells
dad
Fargo?
is a Wells Fargo exec.
Okay, wow. Okay, so his dad's a Wells Fargo exec. His brother is the director for Green Sarah Marshall and the Muppets movie. He's like personally hangs out with like Jason Segel. So like Matt Stoller like hangs out with like the freaks and geeks.
We
like,
hear
people-
your dog whistles. He's Hollywood elite.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
not just a Hollywood elite, but like a hipster piece of shit Hollywood elite. Like Seth Rogen guy, like making like dildo pottery during the quarantine.
I would say that's way more mainstream than really like hipsterism. It's just kind of like, yeah, they're like big mainstream comedy players, like the Judd Apatow kind of circle of folks.
Soulman says he loves your voice. It's calming.
Oh, I'll start an ASMR MAME politics
could.
where I just like quietly get frustrated at all these stupid games. I
hate
know Robbie.
ob-nubs.
The best part of when I don't go downstairs is hearing Robbie from downstairs go fuck.
When I'm doing
Yeah.
this by myself, I mean, yeah. director of Westfield, I heard that as well, that he was mass blocking people, which makes me surprised that he hasn't blocked me yet.
Maybe he muted you so long ago that
He could have. I mean, some people, I think, I've muted people before because I don't want to give them the satisfaction of knowing I've blocked them. So it could be that. He did respond to me a couple times originally, but I'm very surprised at why so many left podcasts that I think are better than the average left podcast, like Useful Idiots. Even Jimmy Dore's show brought him on. I'm surprised that all those shows are having him on, and I don't really understand why. Like, I'm not saying that these shows are bad for having him on, because apparently previously he did good work. Like, he was actually like really anti-Wall Street. He was like really good on the housing crisis thing. From what I've heard, I don't know this personally, but I don't understand how that happened. And it seems sort of strategic. Like, how Tulsi Gabbard was like smart enough to only book herself or mainly book herself on these like sort of indie media left YouTube shows.
She was very calculated and savvy in like a unique way.
Yeah. So I feel like Stoller might even be doing the same thing, because I can't imagine that like Taibbi and Dore and all these people individually like reached out to him to book him on their show. It seems like a sort of a PR tour that maybe his book agent created. But there's just something very artificial about it. And the timing of it is really problematic, that it's like trying to insert all this China criticism into left, like leftism, basically. So, I don't know. I mean, I'm just like nauseated by how much xenophobia there is right now. I mean, we just listened to that Judge Janine rant upstairs.
Gina. Why do they all pronounce it with a G? Somebody is like...
Yeah, why is that? It's weird.
It sounds gross to me.
Why is the word vagina gross to you?
No, it's just, it's just a sleazy way of mispronouncing something in like a way that, like, it's like, let's take this conversation in a new direction.
Yeah.
It feels sleazy. It's like NLP sleaze.
Obnobs. This is not... This is a Sonic arcade game called SegaSonic the Hedgehog that's played with a trackball and only one button. There's not even a jump button. It's like you only have literally one button to like do like a running attack that sometimes jumps. So should we just play it? Get it over with? Because we tried to play it earlier, and unfortunately, I think what we're going to have to do moving forward is like figure out a way to like legit play some of these games properly with trackballs, with light gun, because the Jurassic Park game is very near and dear to my heart. And I just tried playing it earlier again, and I set all the settings on MAME. There's like all these joystick sensitivity settings. I changed them all, and still the joypad, when you move the joypad around, the target goes like like jerks around the screen like so you can't shoot anything. But I did see something on MAME today that says you can use dual mouses. There's a dual mouse option. So
okay.
If we could figure out a way to put two mouses in there.
My golden era of computer gaming, I was using a mouse and a keyboard, and felt like I was somewhat proficient. Like Doom and stuff. What was I just gonna say? Somebody mentioned watching satellites go through the sky. That's in Europe right now? That would be crazy.
Satellites going through the sky, like
there's just like an alignment of like at night you could like see them like in a line or whatever. I want to look up some videos of that. I just randomly heard of that. Cool. I'm jealous. Sitting by a campfire, no less, too.
Hey, John. Good to see you.
Sounds nice. Hi, John. Wiimotes. We don't have any Wiimotes, do we? Can you use that as like a controller?
Obnobs. I mean, I'm sure we could, because other people do it, and apparently those are the best way to use for light guns, from what I've heard. So, yeah, I mean, that
makes sense.
I could probably track them down myself. That's really generous of you to offer to send them. I'm more interested in getting someone to walk me through how to set them up, because I'm really illiterate sometimes when it comes to some of this configuration.
Oh, you figured out. But the trackball thing, can you just use like those, like those mouse trackballs? Or is that too...
Oh, you mean like the actual trackballs instead of a mouse?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, but I feel like an actual trackball is is actually like analog, or is like not analog, and those are like a mouse. Wait, am I being stupid by saying that? No,
No.
I don't know. You know,
I
maybe
think
that would work the
there
same.
were trackball mice back before mice were all like infrared light.
Here's the reason why it wouldn't work.
Why?
Because a trackball, by its very design, has like a much less friction and is designed to be like you're supposed to be able to like.
Oh, there's supposed to be inertia. It has like a weight.
Well,
to
yeah,
it.
you're supposed to be able
Or
to
like a
almost like let it
momentum.
spin by itself on some certain games. Like it has that action to it. So using the commercial trackballs for like a PC probably actually wouldn't work.
Yeah, Obnobs. Sounds like he's trying to declutter his life of Wiimotes.
All right, man. I'll take them. I'll definitely take them off your hands.
And USB light guns, like, do we have anything in the garage like that?
No, USB light guns, from what I've heard, Director Westfield, is that Tom Collector can attest to this because we've had discussions about this, but apparently they're kind of a pain in the ass to use. Like to hook them up on an LCD screen.
Yeah, do you need a special? Wouldn't they work best on like a CRT, like an old screen?
I don't know. I mean, I think an old school light gun does. That's how they work. But you get these new ones to work on a computer screen, they take extra configuration.
Because you probably have to line it up. It's like that. Remember when that first thing came up, the Connect thing, where it like sits on your TV?
Yeah, yeah,
And it's like
yeah. I think it's
AR.
something like that. I mean, even all those old toys too. Besides light guns, which are actually a really simplistic, elegant design. Almost all the old school interactive things that used to come out, like you would literally have to put something like on your TV, and I feel like it's still kind of like that. Like, other than the accelerometers, like inside the PlayStation controllers and those kind of things. But it still seems like I think even like the Wii U, and I know the Switch doesn't have it, but like I feel like almost all the later systems that have something like that have something like you have to put on the TV. So should we play?
Yeah, let's play this piece of shit
Okay.
as best we can.
All right. So hopefully the levels aren't too loud here.
Yeah.
So I hit start.
Hopefully that's not too... Okay. Oh, it is pretty quiet.
How loud is this, you guys?
The music's like not bad.
No, the
but
music's
it's not
great. Well, it's a little like funk. It's got a
not as
weird
good as other
aesthetic.
Sonic
No. It's like meant to be good in the arcade. Okay, you got through faster than me. Okay, good.
Yeah, and now I'm just having a
Wait,
moment.
you hit it.
Really? This is
Having a moment.
excellent.
Okay, here we go.
I mean, it's all very cute concepts. It's just not good.
Graphically, it's
gameplay.
amazing. I love the graphics on this game. And it doesn't even really resemble other Sonic games' graphics because the levels like just look weird. They're like...
Is Sonic Mania better than this?
I had never played Sonic Mania. I can't say.
Fuck.
Just keep running. Run away from this fucking lava.
I'm trying.
You are? Try the action button.
Am I not pressing the right button?
Well, you do a little special jump when you do it. There
I
you
was
go.
pressing the wrong button.
It sounds like Sonic 3 music to me. Like Michael
A little
Jackson
bit,
style.
Yeah.
Okay. Jump. It's... Shit. Did we fall?
Yeah, we
both died.
We just both died off this
Dude.
little bridge.
Okay, hit start again. Did you hit start?
It's even hard with the trackball.
How come I can't start?
I didn't need to continue. Are you out of rank? You're out of rank, bro. Remember, it's one of those games that just decides that you can't start anymore. Oh shit! Fuck.
Wait, now it says I can press the start button. Hold on.
Cool.
There we go.
No. Oh no.
Where am I? Okay, go.
Oh, there's all these like ah. that's kind of
I'm
neat,
trying to
but
understand how this would be more fun to play with the trackball.
you know how it
though.
would
It's
be
kind
more
of like.
fun is that we would go faster and smoother, and we'd be able to find all these little things.
Do you think that's what it is?
We're actually like screwing up the momentum of like how the game is probably supposed to like roll out. 'Cause
So you
can't
think
move
that-
through it fast enough?
Okay, you think you have to keep pushing the trackball?
Yeah,
kind
I
of a
think it's
thing.
one of those things where you're like boom, boom.
Yeah.
It's like it's calibrated just so that it like works well.
Yeah, I wonder if there's a better way to be playing this with what our available tools are right now.
I really wish I could actually play
Oh, that
it
looks
the way
really
it
cool.
was meant to be played. Oh, nice. Too
I
bad
love
we
all the
didn't actually,
Japanese
like, do
Dr.
anything.
Robotnik stuff.
Oh shit. Okay.
Oh, it's very slippery.
Okay.
It's actually kind of getting the hang of it a little now, the controls.
Cool.
The music is like skipping, but it still sounds good. Wait, what?
Oh, cute. Oh no. Oh. Oh no no no. Those are always the most annoying bits of the.
What? Come.
I'm trying.
It's like Marble Madness kind of aesthetics. I like the level design a little bit.
I guess, but it's harder.
Oh, it's harder and it's just not as satisfying. I really do think the trackball is like extremely integral to the gameplay here.
Oops, sorry.
Did I die again?
Yeah, you
Jesus
died.
Christ.
Shit.
Dude, you die so fast on this game. This is such a quarter muncher. Jesus Christ. Hold on a second. Yeah, good start. I don't even understand what we're supposed to do there.
I think you're supposed to jump with the right timing, and then you'll move through it better.
But maybe the
no.
fact that we're playing two players also just makes it almost impossible.
Oh yeah,
with
just like the
speeds.
original. Oh, that was like it was still fun to play, but you like all those
Yeah.
lovely slowdowns in the old Sonic Sega games.
Oh, that's awesome, Tom. So you can attest to the fact that this game is probably a lot better to play with on a trackball, I'm assuming, because right now we're finding it kind of an arduous task to even control it.
But it is very.
I have it set
well
up on a
done.
D-pad, not even a joystick, so maybe that's also part of the problem. I don't know if that would make a difference, though, Tom, to do it analog joystick versus a D-pad controller. Go, no!
Oh, fuck. Sorry. Oh no. Oh,
Tom, do you know if... oh, shit, the graphics there look so good. Holy shit, look at that.
it does look really good.
Wait. Dude.
How come I can't restart?
There you go.
Yeah. Oh no. Oh man. Yeah, I would like to play this very much as it was intended to be played. Oh no no no.
I feel like I was too quick to write it off because it's playing so badly, but I do wonder why they never gave it a home translation.
Oh, no.
Maybe it's because without the trackball, it's just not translatable. I don't know. Or otherwise it sucks. Okay, so Tom confirms our...
Yep. Well,
Tom, is there a way to get a USB trackball? What do you think about that? Hey Oz, how's it going? What's your current take on the U.S. presidential race? Peter H wants to know.
oh, I mean, you know, the worst guy gets it, just like anything else.
I'm gonna hit
so,
up the bathroom. I'll be right back.
I'm not gonna be voting for Biden because I live in California, so I can be a shithead like that. I've never voted for a major candidate in the general election, so I'm gonna keep my streak going. Yeah, it's really. I mean, it went about as terribly as everyone thought it would. I don't know. Just bad news in the middle of like an otherwise like such unprecedented kind of shit that it almost made less of an impact than it would have otherwise. See, Tom Collector mentioning the trackball, it gives that sonic momentum based on like how hard you're spinning it. That definitely seems like a very pleasurable kind of gameplay, because like doing the Sega as a kid, like you didn't quite have like that feedback. That would be really fun.
I was actually just watching it. Speaking of Sonic, somebody made a And I don't know if it's inspired by the movie, but someone made like a real-time Unreal Engine demo of what it would be like if you were Sonic running on like real
I
locations,
want to see that.
like mountains, like doing like the this fast spinball run, but like through like mountains that look like the quality of like GTA 5 like landscapes.
Okay.
It so almost seemed like kind of a half-baked concept because there wasn't anything designed in the landscape to like do special Sonic moves like loop-de-loops or
It's just
ramps. It was just like pure, it looked like
it's
an
like
actual
immersive.
straight up
Okay.
real life like mountain range or something. Um,
MO modus operandi asking me what I think about who's Tara Reid again?
she's the one who accused Biden of rape.
Oh, see, because her
But not
name
but
can't.
like
No, because I can't lodge her name in my brain because there's already a Tara Reid in my brain, even though it's spelled differently.
Tara Reid from American Pie and
Yeah,
shit.
yeah.
We just
I'm just
watched
like,
it.
oh, I know that's a person because I recognize the spelling, but it's just, yeah. I mean, he probably did it. He seems like a real sleazebag. I don't know. I know he smelled that hair. I'd bet my life on the fact that he smelled that lady's hair. That poor lady.
Which poor lady? Tara Reid?
No. The chick who he like really boosted her up and propped her up and like was doing events with her for like her congressional campaign. I can see her face in my mind, but I'm blanking on her name. But she has real dark hair, beautiful, luscious dark hair for an old man to smell in return for, I don't know, getting to take the mic at her events.
Yeah, the thing with Joe Biden is that he literally seems like he is on death's door or mentally about to like completely fucking have like a full on proof to the world that there's no more excuse making, there's no more denying that he has full blown dementia.
Well,
It's over.
he's very Trumpian too in a way. Like his level of like
Yeah,
not acknowledging like his own limitations ever, and
but
now
is it?
he's literally a doddering old man.
Well, that's the thing. It's like he actually transitioned from being a guy like that, like trying to be like China bull in a china shop style, to literally being like someone who can't even form a sentence on television. I mean, if you watch any of his media appearances, there's a recent one with Anderson Cooper and Dr. Sanjay Gupta, where they're both like it's like you could see the expression on their faces as Joe Biden is trying to form a sentence for an entire minute, where they're like trying to figure out a way to jump in and help save him or
Yeah.
something. And it's just like you could see like almost like the anxiety on their faces because what the fuck is going on? Like this is the guy that's gonna run against Trump? Like what the fuck?
Yeah. And I mean, he doesn't have a chance.
No, of course not. No, he doesn't have a chance. There's no way.
It's
And
really,
if he did have a chance, and it's going to be some like full on deep state coup, where it's like he's just like being literally Weekend at Bernie's puppeteered by like a group of like secret, shadowy people who are like, fucking throw this guy in there. We'll get all the shit we want done.
I mean, I guess the thing about it that was sad when like the announcement was made, or like a week or so after, like it was clear that like it's Biden time. Like I know that I have a lot of friends on I don't have a lot of friends on Facebook. I don't like to know people, but I do have enough friends that I saw all the weirdos and artists and freaks and people that are generally like very radical, or at least like, you know, very leftist, or very like just have interesting politics, just immediately start posting these like, I know I kept talking about Bernie, or I know I kept talking about this, but you know, let's all just get together and vote for Biden. I'm gonna do it. And like it's just kind of like this weird, it was this really depressing to see a bunch of people on the feed like kind of like, here's my confession. I
saw the same.
I just, you know, I don't really want to hold out for like any sort of ideals or anything. I don't know. So that was just really sad.
Yeah, it is really sad. And it's just like, we just need to accept the reality that Trump is going to win another 4 years. I know I was cynically already saying that like a year ago, but I mean, it's like pretty much the done deal. There's no chance. Hey, Ned. Hey, how's it going? Dude, I haven't seen you in a while. I this is going to sound sad maybe, but I was like worried you got COVID or something because I haven't seen you on any of the streams. It's good to see you, man. I hope everything's okay in your life right now. And somebody mentioned, I think it was you, Peppo, am I doing this? Can somebody maybe tell me a better time to do this? If I'm like interfering with the Jimmy Dore stream or something else you guys like watching,
Well,
I
we were
don't
gonna do
want
this
to.
like at 4, but you did a hell
Yeah.
of troubleshooting, and you know now not to like announce it until you've got it all situated.
Yeah, but I mean, if there's a better time that you guys think I should do this, where it's not gonna like be at the same time Jimmy Dore is streaming, that would be good. Yeah,
You just gotta turn on your Jimmy Dore streaming alerts.
I know. Well, I have. I'm already subscribed. I do
And,
get his
you do,
streaming alerts.
yeah.
I didn't see that he was streaming already, so I don't know. Maybe I'm totally misreading what somebody already said in the comments, or just assuming.
Somebody says that David Kapoor, I think Biden can win based on normie Trump appalled folks all across America. I don't know. I mean, people don't want to admit that they're on the losing team, though. And people like a strong man who never admits they're wrong. So why would they choose like a slightly more effeminate milquetoast version of that strong man, like who's even more like bumbling? At least Trump like gets into these modes where he's speaking to some subset of the population, crazily enough.
What was Dave? Okay, so David's comment. I just wanted to address that too, really quick. Is that David? I mean, my response to that would be, it does seem like a lot of normies across the country are so appalled by Trump that they will not vote for him. Obviously, and that's obviously an overwhelming sentiment. However, I think that on some level, it does exist sort of within a bubble where it doesn't also reveal how many people in this country are super passionately still into him and who are super passionately against the Democrats, just against the opposite side. And it doesn't even matter. You know, all these people are like, I don't really like the way Trump behaves, but, you know, Nancy Pelosi's a horrible person. You know, that kind of mentality is still super strong. And there's just no passion behind Joe Biden. So the only thing we have on, you know, the Democrat side is like passion against Trump.
Yeah,
That's not enough. There's no passion for anything, really. It's
people won't dig their heels in over Biden.
No. This is literally worse than Kerry. I mean, you can't get any worse. You can't. It's literally
Did
like
Obnob say Biden is the American Yeltsin?
I don't know, but I mean,
Somebody
it's kind of,
quoting him,
it's
and I was
not a
like-
bad comparison. Not a bad comparison at all.
Yeah, that's
Good to hear you're good, man.
insightful. Well, I'm glad that capitalism still works well enough that people like Joe Rogan have access to all the COVID tests they need so that they can still film their fucking TV podcast show like from within their like sexy expensive studio. Like I'm glad that that stuff is within the reach of the people who need it most. I just want to put that out there because you told me that right before we got on here and I was mind blown. It was a little bit shocking. There's like a Vice article about it and it basically calls it, it's like, well, of course he does. He's like Bruce Wayne. He has everything. He's Joe
It's
Rogan.
super weird article.
It's really
yeah.
shocking.
Yeah, I that was really interesting to read. I wonder how expensive each individual test he does is. Hard to imagine.
I mean, to get somebody.
Well, if he has a doctor there,
Yeah,
I mean, he's got to
if
pay the
he's
doctor
paying
for his
somebody to
time.
administer them
So.
and for all the equipment, and he's paying it out of pocket. He has no, there's no insurance at that level. Yeah, it's probably incredibly expensive.
Director Westfield, that's something that Abby and I, or that I especially was fixated on in the last Media Reviews podcast, is Trump's handling of the COVID-19 disaster, as you're saying should destroy him, but the Democrats are attacking him in the stupidest ways. I mean,
Well, same as Russia stuff. They're trying to
Of course.
impeach him for the stupidest reasons.
but
stuff
there
like
was
that.
there was like a moment where it was like, this is going to be. Hey Trish, how's it going?
Hi, Trish. Sorry to interrupt you.
No, it's okay. What was I saying? Director Westfield's comment. That's the thing. It's felt like COVID-19 was going to be the obvious referendum on the Trump administration. That was going to be the election issue. That his handling of it would reflect how much he fucked up, how much he dropped the ball. Him just on record saying it was a hoax and joking around about it for a month would be enough to really hurt him. I fell for that shit. And I mean, I honestly I bought into that narrative that it was actually going to hurt him. And it seemed to start to hurt him, and then it just all of a sudden it's just like now just a partisan shit show again. Everything's back to normal. Teflon Don. I mean, nothing hurts him at all. It's super, super weird.
Mm-hmm.
It's just nothing can get to him. Even the fact that this is also interesting to me, and I don't know if you saw this, Lori, but the Tara Reid thing, I saw a lot of Democrats saying, you know, you're now going to vote for a rapist, Joe Biden. It's like, well, yeah, he is a rapist. But it's still interesting to me that the idea that Trump is also a rapist never like fully soaked in either. It's like Trump did such a good job deflecting all that, Pizzagate, calling Bill Clinton a rapist, like everything under the sun to deflect away from the fact that obviously he's a creep who probably has raped people, who knows Jeffrey Epstein, who's probably had sex with underage girls.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, a lot of crazy shit he's probably done. So it's just interesting how even that doesn't really sink in. It's like a lot of people are like not as committed to believing that about him, even his critics, than they are about like Clinton. And I just find that interesting on some level. He's impervious to anything. What do you do with him? I mean, like what?
I think it is like it does come down to like a cult of personality and dynamism and like magnetism. Certain people just respond to that shit. And
Well, yeah.
Biden doesn't have as much.
Well, there's not even anyone close to Trump's level of magnetism. And that's not to say it's a positive trait. He just has some sort of magical, weird ability that I do not see another politician being able to wield that. Maybe even in our lifetimes. I mean, like Obama wielded, you know, something completely different than Trump. I just don't see anyone like Trump ever coming back on the scene. Like, what are the Republicans even going to do after Trump's over?
I worry about it opening the door to people like
who are like worse than Trump,
like co-opting like a Trumpian like
true
worldview, and then operating from within that as like this is like, you know, this is the new sort of like normalizing it.
But how? Okay, let's assume that's the case. But how would someone be able to do it as effectively as Trump? Can someone emulate that as effectively as what he's doing?
He's as it's like, ugh. How do you get around somebody who's so desperate to be liked and also like treats people as if like they don't even exist, like such a malignant level of narcissism like that. So it's like he's both hyper supplicating when he needs to be, and the Teflon aspect of like he doesn't care. He's incapable of shame. He's not just without shame. He literally lacks an ability to have any of it whatsoever.
That's only one component of it, though. His ability,
but that's
he has
how he
no
takes
shame.
it so far.
True, but also the polling also reflects that he's not really hurt by many of these things that occur. Like it's like his poll numbers are still fairly high. The only metric that seemed to really upset him, and this is all on record now in those Red Dawn emails that leaked through the New York Times, is that he was really worried about his Wall Street numbers, like the stock market shit during COVID-19. And now that the stock market's like not as bad, he's like, he thinks he can turn this all around. I was like, fine. Like that was the only thing he was like genuinely worried about.
But I mean, even these things is like, yeah, somebody brought up Tom Cotton and what he's been up to. Like, I think just the very fact that somebody like him can get into and in some people's minds at least succeed in that role, it's now like the bottom drops out for everybody else. Like there's literally like no standard for like decorum. There's no boundaries for like what's considered like, you know, poor form, foul play, like bad sportsmanship. Like politics used to be like this cutthroat place, but there were certain things that people didn't do, or they didn't do them in certain ways. And now it's just kind of like destroyed all of that. So if anything, it just like reduces like the ability for anybody to have like any way of like navigating what seems like a civil political discourse, because this guy has just like punctured it. The bottom has dropped out.
Well, and these media outlets that have appeared in the wake of his presidency that are just super, super strange and sketchy, like the OAN network, the one that had the reporter literally ask him, why is it racist to say Chinese virus if it's not racist to say Chinese food? Mm-hmm. Like it sounded like something out of a cartoon. It almost looked like something you would see on like a Mad TV sketch. That's how weird and trashy these media, like these weird. So it's like a whole, it's like his personality, his lack of shame, the fact that he has these media apparatuses that also have no shame, that they don't even care about accidentally showing a picture of the character from 2001, while they're doing a report on how the virus escaped from a lab and saying this is the doctor. Then they show a picture from 2001 of Bowman.
Yeah. Well, director Russ Field saying Trump's like the heel pro wrestler fans love. It's like he doesn't care what he has to do to make people mad. He knows that people will like stick with him. It's like he's shaking things up. He's interesting to watch. People love him. Biden, like John saying, Biden puppets his advisors and think tanks, and he doesn't even know where the fuck he is. That's true. Like there's not as much passion there. He is out for himself, but he also has like a certain level of self-awareness that makes him incapable of like the cutthroatery of Trump. So he has no chance in hell.
And someone's asking about the AstroTurf protest. I like how you, by default, Peppo, called them AstroTurf protests, even though you said you might agree with the idea. Or wait, are you saying you agree with the protests themselves? So here's the thing with those. I just think it's really unfortunate and disgusting, and it hits me on like a visceral level that this has already turned into like some kind of partisan divide. And that Trump is like stoking this in a very like chaos agent. Like I don't even know what the fuck he could actually be trying to gain by tweeting "liberate these states," like and promoting those protests. It's so strange. He's the one who already issued a national lockdown recommendation. He didn't say you have to, but he's the one who said everyone should be sheltering in place. Like Trump said that, and then 2 weeks later he's tweeting that out.
Well, I mean, it speaks of like ultimately like how hollow his leadership is. He just throws his weight around. He's like the popular kid deciding like, oh, everybody seems to hate that kid. I'm gonna hate that kid.
Of
like,
course, yeah.
It's like he is himself like so desperate and like desirous of everybody's like approval and admiration for him that he's just looking around and going, well, which direction do I go to maintain my supremacy? I need to stay on top at all costs. I don't care. Like, I don't care if we have to commit a Holocaust.
That's a good analysis.
Or what? Like,
yeah.
He's like functioning on like a reptile brain
Yeah.
level.
You mean if it was polling high that it's now the right time to do a Holocaust?
Yeah,
he'd be like, okay, let's do it.
He literally said on stage, and this is him like testing things. Remember, this was during the debates. Him saying, "I could shoot somebody in Times Square, and people wouldn't care."
Yeah.
Like he was testing things. He's like, "Oh, that works great." It's like unfortunately like he's crazy. Like, I don't know, what's like a disgusting, horrifying animal that just like consumes and just like is like, you know, I can't even, it's like a rabid Wolverine. Like he has like no redeeming qualities and doesn't add anything to the environment and is just like destroying things. But he's
entertaining and he sticks it to the people that people
he's
want
committed,
it to be stuck to, you know?
You know, sad, but.
So, yeah, but back to those protests for a second, Peppo. I mean, I don't know. This is the thing, like, I'm never going to be in a position to say the World Health Organization or the CDC or all these virologist experts and epidemiologists are authority figures that we should never question and assume that all their models and their alarmist predictions are all going to be true and that we should never question them and that they're infallible. However, I am confused about why suddenly you do see this sort of manufactured, concentrated push in the other direction. And it's not just coming from right-wing people. It's actually, I saw it first coming largely from libertarians, Peppo. And then it started to become like a right-wing talking about. You started to see it on Fox News again. So it's like they did this weird back and forth where at first you're like the virus is a hoax. Like Matt Gaetz is wearing a gas mask on the floor making fun of the virus in early February, and then after Tucker flies to Mar-a-Lago to convince Trump it's serious, which I guess was already, a lot of people were already trying to convince him it was for the month before where he wasn't convinced. Once that happened, then Fox News started saying it was serious, and Tucker was saying it was serious, and then Trump was saying it was serious, and then now it's just back to the idea that it's not serious, and then it's all, these experts are all wrong. They're trying to make Trump look bad. I even have seen people say that come up again, where it's like, this was all to try to make Trump look bad, and he was right. Like, it's actually it's a hoax. You know, not as a straight up hoax, but it was a hoax because only like 50,000 people have died, and they said it was going to be 200,000. It's like, we're literally only like a month into the deaths, like in New York happening. Like, so I don't know. I'm kind of just like, I'm waiting to see what's going to happen. But what is your whole take on that?
No, I mean, it is like, I told you I read an article literally last night describing the fact that they've revised some estimates down a bit. May only be like, 30 to 68,000 people that die. And I was like, this article is like published today and there's already like 36,000 people dead by the time like I was knowing that it had been published like the night before. It was shocking. Like people are literally dying. Like my friend who lives in Queens, he's like, yeah, there's several giant refrigerated morgues in my neighborhood. That is a true thing.
But they're just old people who are gonna kick the bucket anyways. I've
Yeah,
even seen
like
some
Dr.
of these.
Phil. Dr. Phil on the
Dude,
Laura
it's
Ingraham show or whatever. It's like, that's what I meant about the bottom dropping out of the discourse. It's like you have a known hack, like, you know, charlatan, like, you know, in the way that it makes Oprah look like a actual, I don't know, like she's Nelson fucking Mandela or something. He's an absolute hack and a charlatan on a news program telling people, you know, people die, you know.
Well, and he's saying that after Dr. Drew, another charlatan, already had to apologize for saying the same thing Dr. Phil said 2 weeks after Dr. Drew's apology that Dr. Drew had said a month earlier than that. Like, it's so confusing to keep track of the political back and forth here because it is inconsistent. And it does seem like people, especially Trump's side and the right, were taken off guard by this. They didn't know how to use it to his advantage. And now I guess they're just throwing everything at the wall again. It's like it doesn't have to have consistency, like you said. He just follows
People
whoever
forget.
the
People have
person.
a very malleable. People's memory is elastic and impressionable.
Yeah.
And people will believe things that fit into the narrative of life they want to live.
Yes. Ned asked a really great question. What's the end game of blaming the WHO? Is it just to deflect from Trump's mishandling the outbreak?
It is an absolute, how do we get in front of this as quickly as possible and make it not our fault that this is such a shit show? And the WHO, for all their problems, like to actually like defund them, it's like, I don't know. That was pretty shocking. Like that makes me think that this dude's going to let the post office run out of money and want nothing but private mail. He's like incapable of feeling any shame whatsoever. Most people have enough pride in their country that even a hardcore libertarian would be like, yeah, we should have a post office.
No, but it was, you know that what he will do too is like he might just like hang that over people's heads and then be like, I saved him. I saved the post office. Like, look what I did for the post office. But one more thing I want to say about Ned's question is I think Ned, it's very specific. Look at what John Bolton was trying to do with the International Criminal Court and the UN through his entire career. This is all to sever America's obligations or relationships with any international watchdog body, any international body that can act like they have any authority over us whatsoever. This is like the neocon nationalism play. It's like we do what we want unilaterally. Why do we have to listen to anybody else? That's, I mean, I feel like
you know what? It used to be we all bought into that system and all of these institutions because it gave us license to throw our weight around in a way that was like behind the scenes and had like more subtlety.
Oh, the Israel thing alone is such an affront to these Zionists and these like hawks in the United States where they're like the UN is compromised. Like fuck the UN, you know?
Well, even somebody like George Bush or somebody who was like against, I don't know, illegal immigration or whatever, like the way Trump like closed down the borders and created all the kids in the cages and all that crazy shit, it was like people told him, they're like, in order to do this, you're going to have to risk like literally like doing some crazy shit. It's like you have to be willing to risk it. So you can't care about it that much. He obviously, even if he saves the post office, which he probably will, he'll act like he did everyone such a huge favor because he was willing to lose it because he doesn't value anything.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, the WHO thing is really fascinating because I think it opens up a wedge, and this is what it's already done. People like Stoller, you've already seen him use this as a wedge very effectively. It opens up a wedge to say that China is bad and they're controlling these organizations. They're in control. It's no longer America that throws its weight around and controls all these international bodies and guides them with their influence and their intimidation. It's China. And that's what we need to watch out for. And then by showing that video clip of a WHO official embarrassingly having to stop that interview, which the whole interview was a setup, let's just say again, that it was a Hong Kong journalist knowing that it was a politically controversial topic to elicit an awkward response from him. And it worked. It worked actually probably much better than she expected it to. It would have been like if Jamie Kirchick did the rainbow suspenders thing and then like RT like had to like shut him, like cut his camera or something. Like if they did something like that. Like Jamie Kirchick looked like a fucking moron and RT actually ultimately didn't care. They're just like, what is this fucking moron up to? Fuck this idiot. And just like let him rant. They didn't shut his feed off. He shut it off himself actually. But back to that video clip, I just think it is obviously publicized in a way to create a wedge issue to allow this anti-China sentiment to go from the right wing to the left wing. And not just left wing, just like generic Democrat, like your parents. People who vote generic Democrat.
You're talking about my parents who are not.
No,
Oh.
no, not literally your parents. But I mean just like
I wish they would vote
generic Dem
Democrat.
neo-libs
Oh.
can now be like, yeah, the WHO is compromised. And it's like, okay.
Well, remember what we did to invade Iraq? We fucked around in the UN. But we followed the rules on that. We were like, you guys didn't show up.
Oh, we didn't follow. They didn't follow the rules at all. They sent real weapons inspectors in as a ploy, thinking that Saddam Hussein would refuse them.
Okay.
They didn't realize Saddam Hussein would be like, yeah, weapons inspectors, come on in.
We
so they were like, fuck. They were like, fuck. Okay. The weapons inspections are taking too long. We know he's already moving the shit on.
He's moved them
on railroad cars.
Yeah,
it's all being secretly whisked away in railroad cars. So we got to end the inspections now and just invade. So that's what we're gonna do. That was what that was. I gotta go to the bathroom again.
Okay. Sorry, I'm just trying to catch up on this chat here. Yeah, the rainbow suspenders moment. Very funny moment. I bet he thought that he would like go down in the history books as like a big queer hero for that bullshit. Somebody's asking if we've seen the NSC AI committee's FOIA document. No. That sounds interesting, though.
Whitney Webb
is their Clearview AI contract?
I think Whitney Webb is either working on something about that or she's already done something about that. If you haven't checked it out already, Whitney Webb did a really expansive series on Operation Dark Winter and linking it to the COVID-19 outbreak, linking it to what's going on now in a bunch of different ways, linking it to all these people that are also part of them. Some of the people have connections to the Trump administration. It's a really fascinating series.
Well, if you thought that no crisis should go to waste, like why wouldn't you be involved in crisis preparations?
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah. John Gold, the WHO video I was talking about is a video that started this whole argument, really. It started the whole thing, John. And it's a video of a WHO official being interviewed by a Hong Kong journalist being asked why they do not count Taiwan as an independent nation in their stats. And since the WHO and the UN don't, they literally, the guy like embarrassingly ended the Skype call. Like you could see his finger like going to the hang up button because he didn't know how to address the issue. He knows it's a very controversial topic. He knows the interviewer was trying to bait him. So he ended the call. It was a stupid move.
He froze. He did froze. He froze and he had like a mental blank and he looked like a dummy because it was like you could almost see like you could see the muscles in his arm move as he like click. It's like like oh I'm I don't know, I'm having a bad connection. It was just so obvious. But it's an interesting clip because it's first of all it's shot really strangely. I don't know if they do a lot of like Asian news markets do a lot of these interviews where it's like a lady sitting there talking to an iPad on a desk. So it was like already kind of odd to me. Mm-hmm. But then he's being streamed in and she asks him and then when the call disconnects, she calls him back and then she asks him again. Is that what happened?
Yeah, and he tries to answer, but he dodges the question the second time. He just realizes he should have just dodged it instead of hanging up the call.
And as an armchair political theorist and like advisor, it's easy for me to come up with some bullshit on the spot about like, you know what, like I see where your question's coming from, but I don't really feel like now is an appropriate time to get into
you would have been able to answer that perfectly if you worked for the WHO. Mm-hmm. Yeah, some people just don't have the skills to like think on their feet or have stock, like things they could say. I didn't listen to that yet, Ned, but Tim Dillon is following me again on Twitter. I'm really happy, and we've been trading some 9/11 truth. Artisanal 9/11 truth stuff, which is fun.
He's so funny when he's on Skanks. I hope he's on Skanks again soon.
There's a new show he actually just did called The Bastards or something with him, Nick Mullen, and Louis J. Gomez, which seemed like an interesting pairing, the three of them, and I listened to some of it. It was pretty good. Just audio only, though.
Oh, I
always like those guys on video. They're always funnier on video, but...
I know. I love Louis on the From Home podcast they're doing now.
All right, should we
Oh
Total
yeah,
Carnage it up.
Total
So
Carnage, and this is not a trackball game.
this is not a trackball game, and this is actually extremely easy to hook up on a D-pad gamepad, because the way Total Carnage works in the arcade, it's like Robotron, where you have two joysticks. One joystick shoots in the direction you want to shoot in, and the other joystick moves you in the direction you want to move in. So if you want to shoot diagonally on this, you would do it the same way you use a D-pad. You'd hit like those two to shoot in that direction.
Okay.
Or if you want to just shoot straight down, you'd hit down.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, here's Total Carnage. This game was made by only one person who was involved in Mortal Kombat, John Tobias. He did a lot of the art in the game. And you recognize a lot of the art's very similar to Smash TV, obviously, because it's kind of like a spiritual sequel to it. So here we go. Hit start. All right.
Password required?
No. So it's a rapid fire, so you hold down the button.
Oh, cool.
Tell me if it's too loud, guys.
Okay. Do you have to... Oh no.
Why is that suspect? Why is some set shot says Whitney Webb playing Epstein's victim phone call was suspect? Why is that suspect to you?
Oh no.
I mean, I don't agree. I'm just wondering why you think it's suspect. So yeah, this game is awesome. I mean, other than being a little sillier, it's got like a humor that I don't quite love. Like as an adult, I feel like it's not, like to me, Smash TV is like Paul Verhoeven level humor. This is more like Idiocracy meets Paul Verhoeven or something.
Oh, was I not supposed to get
I don't
the
know.
shortcut?
We'll see. We'll have to kill a bunch of these weird bad guys where you blow a hole in their chest.
Do I want to kill those people?
No, you gotta get him.
Oh, I just to get them. Oh no. I'm dead now.
Yeah, we both got killed by that shit. You run out of ammo, so don't just shoot aimlessly.
Oh.
You have a default weapon.
Oh man. This game is hard.
It is hard. Go start again. You gotta get weapons to be actually like destroy. Look at all those body parts though. Isn't that good animation?
Yeah, what is that?
Body part.
Can
That's
I
a
get
weapon.
that?
Yeah, of course. Get it. Oh,
Oh,
shit.
wow.
That's bombs too. If you get that, you automatically leave.
Cool.
Yeah. I don't think I rigged up the buttons to drop for us to drop bombs manually, so we're gonna have to not. We're not gonna have that feature.
Oh. Peter says he never finished Idiocracy. Well, I don't even know if it's funny anymore. It used to
Some
be
of
kinda
it's a little
funny.
problematic now, I would say, but
Well-
parts of it are good, parts of it aren't.
Parts of it are probably too real.
Yeah, I like the fact that Terry Crews plays like a black porn star who's president of the United States.
Yeah.
It's pretty. That's pretty good.
Yeah. Heck,
Camacho, yeah.
He's great. Well, he's great in everything.
Yeah, I mean, Terry Crews really makes almost any movie like way better than it should be. Like White Chicks, I don't know
White
how.
Chicks is already good.
White
though.
Chicks is a good movie, but Terry Crews in White Chicks like takes it over the fucking top. Oh, these guys are crazy.
Like jumping aliens.
Yeah,
Cool. This is too hard for me.
it is very hard.
I don't like this. I want with like unlimited.
Let's get to the
ammo.
boss.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the only part of Smash TV or Total Carnage that's irritating is you lose your ammo so fast, or that you die so fast. Also, they might as well have just let you survive, with their full weapon like the whole time.
I can't start.
That's so over the top.
Oh, that does look
Fucking
good.
crazy. Hit start on your controller for me, honey. Yeah.
Oh man.
I like how they sort of resurrect the same attack animation from Smash TV where the guys use their guns, the butt of their guns, to like beat you over the head. It's the same little animation frame when the Smash TV guys get too close to you. If they don't, if they're not shooting at you, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Fuck.
Dude.
Is this like ironically like pro-American?
I guess. I mean, it's kind of like Narc. A lot of Midway's games were like that, where it's like, are they ironic? I mean, Narc especially has to be ironic now in retrospect. That's another game we need to play someday on here.
Do we want to keep going or do we want to take the shortcut? Oops, sorry.
It's okay. No, we're at the boss now. That's good.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
You want the fast shoes? They're up there. Want that? Oh no.
Shit. Oh, dude, look at that animation.
Oh, that looks so good. I wish that happened in every level.
Sorry.
Not just the boss level.
This boss takes so long to kill. I love the sounds, though, of him. Oh, dude.
Damn.
You basically can't kill him without a special weapon. So it's like, you have to use him.
Okay.
Shit. Oh no, maybe I can actually. I don't know. I think I kind of can do some damage to him a little
Damn
bit.
it.
Dude. I think there's only one other boss character in this whole game, which is to me kind of a cop-out, because Smash TV has like at least 4 boss characters from what I remember.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and this game literally only has this one, and then like one at the end. So I feel like it almost feels like an unfinished game in some regards. Because they work so hard on this first level, and the rest of the game just feels like a weird repeat of the first level. And I remember always sort of feeling that when I would play it as a kid. Like if I would get past this part with quarters in the arcade, I'd be like, oh shit, the game's just really repetitive after this. And I would just lose interest. Can you not hit him when he's jumping? It looks like you can't. It's like a waste of ammo to even shoot.
Oh, okay.
I just realized that.
That's probably the technique or the strategy we should have been applying. If these were our own quarters.
That sound. It's so good. One of the cool things about Midway 2 that a lot of other game companies didn't do was they have a lot of like vocal sounds that they recorded like in-house themselves. Like a lot of these sounds, they're not from like sampling libraries or anything.
Well, that would make sense back then. There weren't probably that many great sampling
Well,
libraries.
you'd be surprised. Almost all the sounds in Doom are from sampling libraries. Almost all the sounds from like Dark Forces, like one of the first Star Wars 3D games, is all sampling libraries. There's not a lot of original sound. I feel like Midway really pushed the envelope in terms of like original, really crazy sound design in their games. Oh shit, that's good. Fuck.
Oh my god. Does he even have like a life bar? When does
No,
he
he
die?
does not. He's almost dead though. He's got both of his eyes blown out now. Motherfucker's dead. Shit.
Ooh.
Also, why did the bosses in this and Smash TV and Narc all seem so similar?
I don't know.
Like this guy looks like Mr. Big.
They all have the aesthetic of like those same stickers in like the pizza sticker.
Like Mad Balls?
Dispenser. Yeah,
Like
they
an
all have a
80s.
Mad Balls
Yeah.
aesthetic. Maybe it's some of the same art
Oh
people.
shit. Can you even survive that?
I don't think you can. I
It's
think
just
I'm
like-
just in the wrong spot.
Dude, I love how the flamethrower like destroys him now. Look at that. Oh, that's so cool. So when you shoot him now, the bullets just like shred him. You see that? That's pretty rad. It's like the damage like looks exponential now. It's fun. The animation never gets old. Come on, die, motherfucker. Jeez, he has so many different little like animations and modes, stages.
Fuck.
Okay, now he's dead. Fucking finally, dude.
Do you have to continue each other to go forward?
Oh, you know what? There you go.
He's dead. I don't need to stand there and get the glory. You probably did more of it anyway. Oh, so Tim Dillon had Whitney on his show because of all the Epstein stuff, according to Ned Ryerson.
Yeah, he did. It was weird because I think he was gonna have her on to talk about the Dark Winter stuff, but I don't know if he's that interested in that. It's because she's doing a really in-depth series about Dark Winter right now. And Sam Tripoli, Sam Tripoli seems to be the only one of those guys with a platform that's really interested in the Anthrax stuff, and he had her on to talk about that too.
Somebody, wait, how do I get up?
You never saw this game, Director Westfield? Did you ever see Smash TV? Because Smash TV was the sort of the spiritual prequel. Player One is a dork. Do you see that?
Oh, cute.
Yeah.
That's funny.
So you say, should we log off soon? We've been at this for an hour.
Oh no, Whitney Webb posted an Epic Times article the other day. And then denied it had a far-right agenda. So a lot of people falling for those Epic Times. I mean, they're ubiquitous. They're spending a lot of money on advertising to get that stuff everywhere.
Yeah, I didn't see that, Jenny. Yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to make people very aware of what the Epic Times is right now. Some people might not know what it is. I don't know where Whitney was coming from. But I think she's been pretty good on the issue. I mean, she understands that. I don't think she shares my point of view entirely on it, but I think she fully understands how dangerous all this propaganda is and how volatile and coordinated all this anti-China stuff is right now. But I think you all right?
Yeah.
You need a COVID sneeze?
No, it's probably just a dust sneeze.
Okay. Well, thank you again, everybody, for joining us on MAME Politics, episode 59. We should do a special episode for 60.
Yeah,
I don't know what.
and a
I don't know
very
what we're
special
gonna do.
episode for 69. JK, everybody. I don't have to be on that one. But I would be.
But if you guys have any suggestions, I'm down to play any game. I mean, I don't have to play only arcade games anymore. So I've already gone off the outside of the confines of the rules and played Doom and several other games in the last few episodes. So keep recommending games. And if you are a Patreon subscriber of mine, one of the perks I give you is that one of your game requests will definitely be used on MAME Politics. So I'll still probably take your game request if I remember. Yeah. So if you want to subscribe to my Patreon page, patreon.com/Robbie Martin, you get access to all 59 episodes of MAME Politics. About 1/3 of them currently are hidden. They're not accessible on public YouTube links, but you can instantly get access to all of them if you become a Patreon subscriber of mine for $5 a month.
Mm-hmm. And no matter what, you should definitely, everybody who hasn't already listened to both parts of the recent Media Roots work that Robbie did. I know it was very deeply researched and there's a lot there. So that's why I haven't gotten through it, is because I can't listen to it while I do work in the background because I'm trying to pay full attention and it's just very dense. So I highly recommend that.
Thanks for Thanks for recommending it. And thanks again, everybody, for listening. And thanks, Lori, for joining me today.
Yes.
And we'll do this again soon, guys. Take care.